I'm admitting, connecting to audio, Stephen Abel. We'll see when he gets in here.
You're live on YouTube.
Thank you. Hi, Stephen. Did we put him on mute to him, or can he unmute himself?
Hi,
You should.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Hi, Stephen. It's Diane Markison. And do you want to activate your video or no?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay.
Hello.
There you are.
This is my
Here we
wife,
are.
Jennifer. She's
Hello.
joining me.
Hi, Jennifer. Okay, so we have the committee on, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. And then, of course, I don't have, that was one thing I forgot, was my agenda. So Pat, can you take the roll call, please?
Can. I also see who's missing and Billy's not here.
Oh, okay. Well, you're right.
So officially I'll take the roll. So please listen, ladies and gentlemen. Victoria Knapp is absent. Jeff Simmons is absent. Shauna Dawson.
Oh, she's here.
Yeah, she's here.
Okay. Billy Malone, not yet. Dorothy Wong. I see, I don't hear her, but okay. You can talk if you, it would be helpful. Aaron Sheeta is absent. Chris
Right.
O'Malley.
Here.
Gloria Sanyika.
I'm here.
Veronica Jones. Yes. Antonio Becerra.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Nick Santangelo.
Here.
Pat Sutherland is here. Doug Cauliflower.
Here.
Dan Harlow.
Here.
And Diane Markison.
Yeah.
And Sylvia Vega. Here. Okay, we have a quorum with 13.
And Billy
14,
just joined.
12, excuse me.
Oh, Billy's here.
Okay. With 13.
Yeah. So we have a full house. Okay. So we would be looking at our minutes, but I don't believe that we received our minutes. I think Dorothy, you were doing minutes last month. Who was doing minutes last month then?
It was in my notes that Dorothy was doing it.
Right. Anyway,
May
so
I make a suggestion? If it's not done, Nick knows, since he's going to be doing minutes from here on. Nick, you know where to find the information to do the minutes from last month. Because you told
I can dig it up, sure.
Yeah, it's there. It's there. I just volunteered Nick to do them. For last
okay,
month,
so
we
Pat,
can-
well, you guys can work offline on that. Thank you very much. Okay. So we're going to approve the meeting agenda for today. And I did not get any requests for changes or anything. So does anybody have a request for change for the meeting agenda today? Okay, can I get a motion to approve it as distributed?
So moved.
So second.
Billy Malone seconds. Okay, all those in favor of making the dog stop barking, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Woof.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the meeting agenda as distributed, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Oh, Gloria, you're abstaining on the agenda?
I don't have an agenda. I don't think I received it.
I sent them out to everybody. Pat, would you mind sending Gloria an agenda, please?
I didn't get.
I know I did send it out to everybody. Okay, so we'll just, Gloria will abstain on the agenda, no worries. Okay. So we skipped over the minutes. We will approve the minutes next month. And we Sorry. And so for the chairman report, I don't really have a lot or really anything to report from a land use committee perspective, unless anybody has anything that's going on. But the land use has been sort of quiet with it. We do have a project that Billy and Corey in their census tract that's being looked at that we may have to look at next month. And we will be reviewing this project that we're going to review tonight next month as well. But that's really all I have for a present chairman report. We have no action items tonight. We're having just a presentation. So we are going to move to the presentation, which is a minor CUP for 29 West. Hello? Did somebody say something? Okay. You can go ahead and mute if you're not going to speak for now. That'd be great. The project is at 29 West Loma Alta Drive, and it's modification to the Altadena CSD side yard setback requirement. And this is a project that has already been completed. So you were sent the information that we got from regional planning on the project and had other documents to review. So I think pretty much everybody is up to speed. It's weird here. Everybody is up to, sorry. Okay. Sorry, there was a thing on my screen I couldn't see, guys. Everybody's up to speed on the project. And so, Stephen, we ordinarily let the applicant then go ahead and explain to us kind of what the project is, how it's come about, and what you're looking for from regional planning.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, thank you guys for inviting us. Thank you for allowing us a little bit of time to discuss this with you. Thanks to technology for us all going through a pandemic and still being able to see each other. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But we've lived in this house now for about 8 years. It was previously owned by my father. And an addition was done under his ownership. And it was to maintain the side yard setback. And at the time, we were renting here. My wife was pregnant with our first daughter, and our personal lives were already very busy, that we were around for the construction, but not necessarily a part of construction. There was a lot of pushback from the next door neighbor and a lot of positive from the rest of the neighborhood. And ultimately, we had so much pushback from the next door neighbor that it drove my dad crazy. And he ultimately said, I can't live here anymore. I can't be the owner of here anymore. I'm done. And we love it here. We love Altadena. We've been renters in Altadena for almost 12 years. And we took it as an opportunity that, we saw how far this house got developed and the neighborhood was growing, that we wanted to buy it. It was not gifted to us. It was not handed to us. We bought the house. And since then, we had a big struggle trying to get a loan originally. Ultimately, it went through. The mortgage broker at the time had mentioned that there's a problem with the building department. There's a lien, or there was, I think they called it a substandard at the time, because the building was permitted. It just was not finalized. And so when our loan went through, to be completely honest, we thought it was put to rest. And given some of the current times and with anticipation of certain things, I'm self-employed. My wife raises our 2 daughters. So to financially protect ourselves, we look to refinance our home. Thankfully, as a member of Altadena and of the community, we know that there was increased value in our home, and we wanted to capitalize on it just to protect our family. and ultimately ran into the same thing that we ran into when we first tried to buy it. So for now, the better part of 2 years, we have gone back to the building department. They've requested reopening permits. They have refused to come out and see the house. We have sent them photos, countless meetings, countless phone calls. About a year ago, they said, you guys need to obtain a minor CUP. So we hired an architect. The architect did an as-built. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with what an as-built is, but an as-built is essentially somebody who draws exactly what is here. And we took it to regional planning. We paid our fees. We submitted. And we felt it should be noted that when we purchased this home in 2017, we were reassessed. The property, LA County deemed what the addition was as legal. They deemed it as proper square footage. They deemed the square footage accurate, and they deemed it a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. And so that's what helped us think that we put the whole thing to rest. And we've been paying our taxes on this thing since we've been owners. So it was very disheartening to find out that it isn't legal yet. And for 2 years, we have simply had one question: what is the resolution? We are, the fact that we were renting here, yes, we were a part of it. We're sorry that it wasn't the right way. We just want to move on. We just want to have a resolution. We just want to know what is next. We are not trying to hide anything. We've paid everything that we possibly could pay, and it's been a financial burden for us to get through all of these hoops and these countless meetings and countless video Zoom calls. And we just don't know. So when we talked to Miss Cho, who was the regional planner working on our case, and we found out that it was approved or recommended for approval, it was beyond heartbreaking to hear that it couldn't because of Altadena Town Council. And to no disrespect to any one of you, I honestly didn't even know what Altadena Town Council was. I'd never heard of it.
Not the only one.
And I'm sorry. I feel like I should have known.
No, it's okay.
But that was it. And then when we heard that Altadena Town Council had 2 months to reach out to us, and once a week, Miss Cho would send me an email saying, "Have you heard?" And I said, "No, I've heard nothing." And then to hear somebody speak in opposition that we found out was on the Altadena Town Council was even worse.
Yeah.
And now here we are getting emails that it's going to take you guys 3 more months to come up with a resolution. And frankly, we just don't understand what to do. If tearing down the building is the resolution, it seems crazy to us to do that, but fine. We are very, very social with the neighbors in the neighborhood. And we told them, we said, if we have to tear down the building, that's going to put everybody else in this neighborhood through 12 to 18 months of construction again, and noise and dust. And we can't really fathom that. And anyway, the last couple months has kind of put us on the brink of whether we can afford to stay here, want to stay here, or even frankly want to be next door neighbors to the person who has been harassing us for the last few months.
Yeah. So let me sort of back up a minute, address a couple of things that you said. One of the things that happens in the county that we know, and unless you've gone through it, you don't really know, is that regional planning is sort of one department, building and safety is another department, and sort of never the twain shall meet. And then you mentioned another department now that I can't remember what it was, but the county is sort of compartmentalized in their work, right? So when the work was being done, so so what you're supposed to do originally is go through regional planning, they approve the plans, then it goes down to building and safety. Building and safety are the building permit people.
Right.
And so we do see that at the time that it was being built, that there were complaints that came in, that the county came out and, code enforcement and or building and safety came out to let the builder know that they weren't building it to plan, right? And so we now have confirmed with building and safety that there were permits open, that the project was not being built to plan, that nothing was ever approved by building and safety, and that all the permits expired. Nothing was ever closed, right? So I think that's what you said, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And during that time, I recall when the building inspector did come by, and I know him by name, but he was, and frankly, I thank him for this. He said, rain is in the forecast, finish the roof, protect the building, then stop construction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I appreciated that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened in the following years.
Well,
to the point
it
where,
looks as if, so like I said, there's building and safety, and then there's regional planning, right? And regional planning, that's Becky Cho.
yes,
And they are the people that keep track of the compliance with our community standards district CSD code that overlays the county code from a setback, all of that perspective, right? So
Okay.
Jose Rubio came out to inspect at one point as well. He's the code enforcement person for Altadena. And sorry, we must have just lost somebody because the pictures moved around. Anyway, he's the code enforcement person from LA County who would have come to talk about the setback, because
Right.
so building and safety does your electrical, your plumbing, your framing, all of that, and regional planning does the setback piece.
right.
So there was a point at which they came out and talked about the setback piece. So where we are is that there were quite a number of, well, let me back up just a minute. So the county is complaint driven. You may know that now.
Yeah.
The county doesn't, if you're building, you get an electrical permit and you're building and you get the electrical in, they don't just say, oh, gee, Stephen opened up that electrical permit and they should be about done by now, so we should go out and look. You have to call them, right?
Right.
So yeah, you have to call them for an inspection. So it looks as if what happened was that there were, the county was coming and saying, don't do this and fix it. And the building and safety came and opened up some cases. That's the guy that talked to you about the roof. And Jose Rubio from regional planning opened up a case about the setback. And those were not brought to conclusion, some of them. And there's an open case now. And if there's a lien, if they put a lien on the property, is that where the lien came from?
Yeah,
that you
I'm
talked
not
about?
sure. So lien seems to be a loose term that people are throwing around on this. And when we discussed with a real estate attorney, and when we've discussed with some people that we have friends in the real estate business, on title, it's called a substandard, apparently. And
okay.
And so, but it is a flag that is on title that anything Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, bank associated will not loan on the house.
Right.
We've gotten close a few times due to the fact that apparently the equity in this house is very much in our favor.
Yeah.
And, something we're proud of, I guess, but needless to say, we can't get to our goal.
Right. So there are, because there are still open items, right, with building and safety and with regional planning. I think that's whatever the flag is came from them, right? That said the building, there was this piece built onto the building and the right people haven't signed off on it. Okay.
So when we
we're
talked
the town council. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, when we talked to building and safety, it took a couple people, but when we finally talked to somebody, there was a lady who's kind of in charge of all of the liens or substandards, etc. And she was going to originally release it temporarily, just in order for us to financially afford any of the corrections or any of the fees in order to pursue. Somewhere down the line, she retracted that, and they were basically saying the last detail that they had was with regional planning, and if they showed us a completed and approved minor CUP, then the rest of the structure was well engineered. It was, her name was Ciara Barnett.
Kira.
Yeah. Oh, Kira?
You say it, Kira
Oh,
Barnett.
Kira.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. So she's the one that sent me an email that said there were permits opened in 2017. The project wasn't being built to the way the permit, the plan. And so the project was halted and the permits expired. That's
Right.
what she sent to me. Yeah.
Which was right around the point that my dad was done with the property and we saw the
Right.
opportunity to
That
buy.
was, 2017. Right.
Right.
So anyway, so kind of where we are is a little bit between a rock and a hard place. The town council is a group that is elected into office to be an ombudsman and sort of intermediary between the county and the residents. So we review, there's a lot of different kinds of projects that we review. Becky Cho could have told you 2 years ago, if that's when you started this, that you needed to talk to us. And I apologize that this came to us right in the middle of pandemic craziness in the kind of in the beginning when we didn't know, quite frankly, how we were going to meet. We didn't know if we were going to meet. We didn't know how we were going to do, remember, if you think about it, 3 months later, whatever, we all are a little more adept, right, at figuring out how to maneuver through all this. We had no idea at the time. I mean, really and truly. So we went through but we were able then to start working on it and found out all of these millions of moving parts, right? This didn't happen right. That didn't happen right. This department didn't do this. This person didn't call out. Oh, there they are. Okay. Well, I don't know why does my screen keep moving around because people are leaving? Anyway, this didn't get done properly. This didn't, all of those things, right? There are a whole bunch of those things. And we have a neighbor who's coming up with has over the course of the years apparently opened. That's why they're the county doesn't just open a case, right? And there are several cases that were opened over the years, and so those would have been opened probably because your neighbor wanted to call them out and say it's not being built to code or it's not being built to plan. And so she was right. But then all these other departments and processes didn't work exactly the way they should have, I guess. So here we are and the reason that we're not going to make any sort of a decision tonight is because there are so many moving parts, and the manager of regional planning department has now been in touch with me, and I'm going to see if there's some additional information that we can find out. I'll talk to Kira again about what she told you about whatever that temporary thing was going to be that she was going to do. So we are charged with, we don't make the decision, by the way. I just want to make that really clear. Okay. The decision is made with regional planning about the setback. But once the setback is approved, let's just say, right, that regional planning says, okay, your setbacks are fine. There is building and safety won't take any action anymore about the setback. They may make you take walls down. I don't know how they do
Right.
retroactive electricity approval and plumbing and all the rest of that stuff, right? I'm not a builder, so
Which
so
our
that's
point
of
to them
concern,
was,
right? That's sort of concern. So where we are, the setback is the piece that is generally a problem. I think there's something with windows too, but I don't think we need to go into the window thing tonight.
well, just real quick on that
Yeah.
note, we during regional planning and during our chance of our hearing, we were given a chance to speak, and then it was up to public comment. And our neighbor, who was in constant opposition of us,
Mhm.
9 out of the 10 points that she said had nothing to do with the addition. And with windows in mind, we have all the documentation to prove that there is no windows on the addition. There are windows on the west side, but they're
Okay,
on
all right.
existing.
Okay, by the way, let me just say this to you. The people that you're seeing are the people on the actual town council committee.
Okay.
There are other people in the community that are watching us on YouTube right now.
Okay.
So I'm not sure we said that to you, and all of a sudden I thought, oh my gosh, that, if there are more people listening to you. I mean, you're not saying anything bad, but
Right.
I'm just saying that I
No.
realized we hadn't disclosed to you that there were other people.
And that's fine. And our goal, it doesn't matter. The hearsay, the he said, she said, the whatever, we're just
Right.
over all that. We just want to get a resolution. We want to
Right.
know,
I
is it tear the
understand.
building down or
I
pay a
understand.
fine or
Right.
what?
I understand.
We just want to move on.
Yeah, I totally understand. And we get it. So the reason that we're doing it this way, and I know it was a little bit aggravating, but really it's the most efficient way for us to do this, is for us to talk to you tonight, to
Okay.
hear, we are all hearing the same thing about what went on with the project and all of that. We will now have a month to work with regional planning and with building and safety to kind of try to see what what their thoughts are, or why, for example, like I said, why Kira was going to do something for you, I think for the loan or something, and why there seemed to be some other I don't know, some nuances or some background things that we still need to understand. So what I had started to say was that what we do is we take the feedback from the community and we look at it ourselves, and we, like I said, there's going to be a couple of public comments, but we take all that into consideration, and then all we can do is make a recommendation to the regional planning department about what we would recommend would happen. Okay.
Okay.
Based on what we hear from the community, and what we learned from, in this case, from regional planning and building and safety. Okay. So
Well,
that's what.
Ms. Cho had asked us to provide her some additional information because in the regional planning hearing, we were not able to speak again after some of the public comments. And there was a lot that was not accurate information. So we prepared a little documentation with photos, with some of the facts that we do know. If it's okay, I'd be happy to email it to you as well, and you could
Sure,
see.
and I can get it out to the committee. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
that'd be great. Yeah,
That's appreciated. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and remember, one of the other challenges that we've had is that those folks are not in the office. Like, we're used to being able to pick up the phone and just call them
Right.
and talk to them. And it's all being done through email because they're not actually physically in the office. And so that takes some time as well. So this will give us some time, and I'm going to let people ask questions in a minute. I'm sorry, I'm going long. I told everybody we wouldn't have a super long meeting, but
My apologies.
So we'll take the next, it's all right. We'll take the next month to get out any more information that you have. We'll get that out to everybody. We will have additional discussions with regional planning and building and safety to try to really make sure we have our arms around kind of exactly what happened. But really, we're being asked as a committee, we're being asked to review just the setback. okay? And how that setback impacts the, the community, the neighbors, we have a community plan that says that we're supposed to have light and air. There are, I kind of went out and tried to look to see what fire might have said about it. And that information is out of regional planning and not on the Epic LA website. So I need to, see what I don't know if you know what they've said, but anyway, there's just a whole lot of things that we try to take into consideration. And then when we get through, we will vote a month from now, which I think I gave you the date of. Well, it's the first Tuesday of September, whatever that day is.
Okay.
This committee will vote on it, and we will make a recommendation to send, or we'll make a recommendation and send that then to the Altadena Town Council. We're a subcommittee of the actual Altadena Town Council. Now, the good news is that many of the people that are on this meeting right now are on the Town Council, most of them actually. And so we don't have to go through the explanation a lot twice, right?
Right.
But so we will make a decision on it on the first Tuesday of September. On the third Tuesday of September, it will go to the Town Council. They will vote. And then we will send a letter down to Becky Cho to say, this is what we did. This is, how we came to this conclusion, and this is our conclusion. So, but that's just a recommendation.
Of course.
And they end up doing what they want to do, but they always want to kind of we're like their ears and eyes and legs and, arms, walking around and actually talking to the neighbors and then, looking at the situation. So we'll have a month to work on that as well.
Okay.
All right.
That makes sense.
So now that I've said that, we do have public comment, which Pat will read. And Pat, you don't have a picture, but I'm assuming you're still there. Are you? You're muted though. Are you still there?
Yes, I just had to unmute myself.
Okay. And
Are we going to get a chance to ask questions, Diane?
Yes, we're going to ask questions right now.
Or after public comment, which
Either way, you want to hear public comment first?
let's hear public comment and then we can just do questions all at
Pat,
one
do you
time.
want to go ahead and you have a number of things to read, right?
Yes, I have three public comment. The first one is from Lillian Davis, and she says, I'm writing to oppose the application, and she reads the number, to allow 29 West Loma Alta Drive, Altadena, reduced side yard setback to 3 foot 8 inches. The Altadena community standards are set for good reasons and should be complied with. Building homes too close is a safety hazard for emergency services and endangering all homes with higher risk of fires in an already high fire zone. Substandard building devalues the neighborhood. Thank you. The second one is from, and I don't know what the initial is, but the last name is Snaffer, S-N-A-F-F-E-R. And this one's a little bit longer. I'm writing in response to he lists the project number. I'm a 23-year resident of Altadena, and I follow the ATC and LUC meetings and agenda. I often repost and comment on social media about issues that affect our community. My neighbors and I were curious about this new minor CU and how it would affect Altadena. I thought it looked interesting and went into this with an open attitude. I believe this minor CUP was a positive step in getting back houses, small additions, etc. up to code, and in turn make the neighborhood a safer place. I found this especially helpful, giving new homeowners a chance to make right what was built wrong by the prior owners. I read the package given by the applicant to regional planning, then read the concerns from others opposing it or requesting further investigation. I also watched the regional planning hearing concerning this. I was able to go to the neighbor's property at 37 West Loma Alta and get a firsthand look. I was shocked at how close this illegal addition was built to the property line. 2 feet 5 inches. Even more shocked to find out the people asking for this MCUP are the ones that built the illegal addition. It's a complete fire hazard. There's no room for emergency access. For safety reasons alone, I'd be so upset if anyone built an addition 2.5 feet from our property. I see no reason to grant a minor CUP for this illegal addition. I do not believe this is what the minor CUP was intended for. Even with permits, it will continue to remain a huge safety issue due to the tiny setback, both for the applicant and their neighbors. It also sends the wrong message to the community. Build whatever and wherever you want, because we've got a minor CUP loophole for you. We put a lot of work into having a community plan with safe setbacks and see no reason the applicant could not have abided by them. In closing, I see the only solution is to modify the current illegal addition to comply with the law. They should be easily able to correct the problem they caused at a modest expense. Thank you. And the last one is from, I believe this is your neighbor. My name is Marlene Matsui, and I own property at 37 West Loma Alta Drive, which is the adjacent house west of 29 West Loma Alta. I've been living here for 25 years. I'm directly affected by encroaching illegal addition. Mr. William Abel Builders, Inc., general contractor, La Cañada, purchased the property in 2012. His son Stephen moved in at this time and has been occupying the property ever since. William Abel and his son Stephen built the illegal addition in 2014. I went to work one day in November in the morning, and when I got home, the addition was framed and roofed. It was built very quickly. William Abel transferred the property to his son Stephen in 2017. For 6 years, I've lived by this fire hazard illegal addition with side yard setbacks of 2 feet 4 inches. I have filed complaints with zoning, building and safety, and contractors building permit violations. I have called the tax assessor office to report the addition of 530 square feet. My biggest concern is safety. We live in a high fire danger area with lots of mature trees and foliage. The illegal addition being 2 feet 4 inches from my property line imposes an extremely safety hazard to my home. The corridor between the brick wall and the illegal addition leaves absolutely no room for emergency or utility access in case of fire, earthquake, or flooding. The setback has an impact on my plans to build for my family. Even with my compliance with Altadena CSD standards, the encroaching addition will force me to have to build further away from the property line to have proper space between two structures to be in compliance. This puts my plans on hold. This encroaching addition has blocked my mountain view as well as the airflow and light from my property. The encroaching addition devalues my property being right against the wall. It's unsightly with a loud central AC unit moved from ground to the roof. The applicant has applied for this discretionary entitlement permit with misleading information and falsifying numbers in order to qualify. I invite all on the land use committee, town council members, and anyone in the neighborhood for or opposed who would like to see this in person to come. Seeing in person speaks for itself. Thank you for your time and consideration. Those are the
Okay, and did you not have one from Mark Goldschmidt?
no.
Well, he sent one.
Yeah.
He didn't send me, he didn't send anything for public comment. He
Yeah,
sent long descriptions of things, which is not public comment.
yeah, the last one he sent was for public comment.
I thought he said something for public comment too.
Yeah,
Oh,
can you find that, Pat?
yeah.
Or
Hang on, let me see.
Yeah,
Last
I'm
one,
looking
Mark.
right now. Mark
Okay. I see information, but nowhere does it say. He sent it out, I think. Did he
Yeah,
send
it
it?
actually, the one I got does not say public comment on it. It was just
No,
more
it doesn't.
informational.
It says to the town council.
well, he called me. Yeah, so he called me and asked me.
Okay.
Is this the one? This is the one with the two drawings attached, Diane?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
and he did ask me about doing public comment, and I told him to send us the information, and I guess he didn't realize I assumed that it said public comment because he had called me. And
Okay, I can read it
okay,
quickly.
okay.
Don't you love this this reading voice for you? Okay.
Well, it's all right. But we
And he
just were
lists,
making
as the others did, he lists
COVIDville. Yeah, go ahead.
the property address.
Mm.
Okay, and you have no pictures to look at, so forget saying that. Okay.
Well, everybody has it, so. go
Well,
ahead.
no, they don't, because he didn't send it to the entire council.
Yeah, he did not
Right,
actually.
but you sent it then to everybody else. We
No,
had that.
that was something else that he had sent to everybody else. This is a different one, right, Daniel?
Yeah, this one was not sent to everybody, Diane. So I mean,
No, but there was another one,
Well, but
Diane.
it was sent to Pat apparently, right? So.
Yeah,
that
this
was
this one, you and I and Daniel and Billy, I think were on, and
Right, okay, so I told him to send public, let's not have we don't need to take up 15 minutes with this, but I told him to send it to you. So that's why you have it.
okay.
All right. And
Yeah.
I can forward it out to everybody else tonight. Go ahead.
Okay, hang on, I'm just doing a quick thing because referring to pictures no one can look at doesn't really help a lot.
That's fine. That's fine. Remember, we don't respond to public comment anyway. Go ahead.
Right, okay. Below, please find 2 plan drawings for the room addition currently seeking approval from the Department of Regional Planning and 2 photographs of the construction in question. The first plan, stamped and filled out in red ink, is entitled Zoning Compliance Review. It's a small print and faint, but the plan is clear, and by printing out the PDF that was sent to me with the hearing package, scanning and enlarging it, most locations and dimensions are legible. This zoning compliance review plan shows the bed and bath addition 6 feet 8 inches from the property line, jogging in and not aligning with the side of the existing house as the addition was built. This setback is in compliance since the lot has a 75-foot street frontage at an acute angle to the side property lines. The actual width is marked 66 feet 6 inches, which sounds right. The second plan is an architectural plan showing proposed construction. I assume this was intended for permitting, but I don't know if this document was ever submitted to Building and Safety. The architectural plan shows the house parallel to the property line and set back. I don't know what those little funny words mean.
Okay.
In fact, it seems the existing house is not parallel to the property line, so that the setback diminishes toward the rear of the property. The addition is built to extend the line of the house. Zoning compliance review is signed by Jolene Ramos and dated 1/12/2016, as clearly as I can make out, but it's not clear and should be verified. I believe this is the site plan submitted for zoning compliance review prior to the issuance of a building permit to show that the owner intended to follow zoning guidelines. It appears that the plan submitted for zoning compliance review and approved was not followed, and if the architectural drawing is any indication, was never intended to be followed. In fact, though a permit was pulled for the addition, no inspections were ever called for and the permit expired. Furthermore, neighbor says that the addition was built at the end of 2014 and early 2015. Building permit was granted on 22 January 2016. Neighbor submitted date stamp photos January 30th, 2015 and April 2015, showing the addition was built too close to the property line long before the permit was applied for and probably before zoning compliance review plan showing the correct setback was submitted and approved by the Department of Regional Planning. And that's pretty much it there. I will send this out to everyone on the land use committee that didn't get it.
I just sent it to everybody.
Oh, okay. That's it.
So, right, okay. So those are the, that's the public comment. And I did want to just, if we could, if I could just ask a quick question, is that I know that on the documentation we received about the application for the minor CUP, that I think there's I'm not going to say this right, but I think it's a setback of what, 3 feet 10 inches or something, but really the smallest setback is 2 feet something. And so have you talked to regional planning about that discrepancy?
Yeah, from our understanding, the number came off of a site plan, not an existing block wall that is 6 inches thick and failing and irregular. And in the, not that this is relevant, but in the given last couple weeks, we've caught our neighbor sitting on the wall and leaning over and snapping photos and measuring. And we've unfortunately had to call the local sheriff department because she can't be doing that. She's having people come over and doing that, and they are finding a out of place brick. We have this on video. We have this we have photos, and she's finding out of place bricks and trying to come up with the smallest possible spot. But by county by county code, and from what we understand, setbacks are deemed off of property line and not a fence or a wall.
That's right.
So, but again, we can't express this enough. We are tired of hearing what was wrong. We just want a resolution.
Yeah.
We just don't know
Okay.
what to do.
Well, that was just a confusion that we really didn't understand because of the, I didn't know if regional planning had made any comments about that or not. Okay, Daniel, you had a question?
Oh, I got a bunch of questions.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'll ask them one at a time. They're not going to be,
10 minutes
unfortunately,
to
they're
8.
not
Right,
going to be
10 minutes
too
to 8,
short.
So it's 10
I
minutes to 8.
know, we're running
Okay.
long, but I do have a bunch of questions. So,
Okay.
and the first one is really a question for you, Diane, just so everybody's clear. We're
okay.
only considering, we're not worried about the permitting issues. Frankly,
Correct.
I'm dealing with that on another house for a family member. We are
Correct.
just looking at the setback issues. I just want to be clear on that for everybody.
Correct. Yeah, the permit issues just explain
that's a
why
whole nother
yeah, that's right.
thing.
Yeah.
So
and there's a case for that, right?
Yeah. So my first question for Stephen really is: have you had the property surveyed? Do you know exactly where those lines are, where your property line is?
I personally haven't since we've been owners. I don't know if my dad did as the previous owner or not, but no, we currently have not hired a surveyor.
Okay, and so my next question is on this house, the existing property before this addition was built, the existing house before the addition was like, you didn't bump that out, or you're not aware of that being bumped out closer to that property line?
In line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in line. So, okay. Looking at this and like, unfortunately I didn't get a chance to drive by or anything to take a look, but looking at this, it looks like the majority of this addition is actually next to the neighbor's backyard based on the satellite photos and not directly next to their house.
Right.
Is that correct?
In fact, I think the only overlap is maybe 5 feet.
Yeah, it looks like just the front. It's hard to tell if it's 5 or 8 feet, but that wasn't the addition. That was the existing house, right?
Yeah, I think
the
addition is almost 50 feet away from her.
Yeah, so this looks, at least from the satellite, it looks maybe towards the back to middle of her property. It looks like you guys have some deep lots there, though.
Yeah.
On this, Diane kind of touched on it. It sounds like the block wall, I mean, this is very common in homes in Altadena. It sounds like maybe the block wall isn't straight down. Does it come in? Is that?
It does. It's got a few curves going down.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty basic. So, I mean, and this really isn't a question for them, but this is something more for the committee. This is something we discussed extensively on the CSD committee when we were rewriting. A matter of fact, it sounds like the original plans were done in 2016, which would have been under the old CSD, which had a very high barrier for these type of additions. I'm not sure if you guys were aware of that. And so I can see why, where under the new CSD, this was moved to a minor
Right.
CUP, because the idea was to allow more people to build these type of minor, less than 500 square foot extensions along an existing plane of their house.
Right.
And so, I'm a little, yeah, I know it has to come to us as part of this process, but you know, this is like I think we had multiple meetings during the CSD process on this type of, you know, how much is too much to allow them to extend their house and whatnot.
Right.
And assuming that, I mean, I'm assuming that this is about 500 square feet. I saw 498 on one, I saw 500 on another. But I mean, this was kind of what this whole process was like. This is like the ideal scenario. Now, in terms of fire and whatnot, I know there are setbacks from my time on the CSD in terms of when you have buildings directly next to each other, that they have to be, you know, a certain apart. And that's why 5 foot was kind of put in as the minimum, because that would give you a 10-foot thing.
Right.
But looking at this property next door, I mean, frankly, this house next door, even if you put another 500 square foot addition on it, I don't think would run into their addition they built. That's, you know, theoretically to, you know, that they're asking for permission. She would have to get a CUP to go more than 500 feet,
Yeah.
a full CUP.
And Daniel, yeah, you're right. And let me just say that I've asked Becky Cho and or Mitch Glazer, whoever I'm going to talk to, right, about like how in their assessment, how they see the issue about keeping in the plane of the house, right? I had, unless you've seen something on there that I have not, we haven't really had them weigh in on that piece of the CSD. And so you're right. So let's just say that we're going to ask regional planning again on that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I like, this was like this exact issue
Right,
was
I
what we
understand.
tried to reduce. Well, one, we did successfully reduce it from a minor CUP from the regular CUP.
Right, the full CUP, right.
Because this was like, I don't know, they told us how many were coming in front, and this was like a major, like this was a big deal. It was driving costs up by $12,000
Right.
for the
Yeah,
CUP
you're right.
process.
You're right.
So,
you're right. So let's
yeah,
find out from regional planning.
yeah, so we definitely want to talk to them, but yeah,
Yep.
I mean,
Did you have another
the
question?
the permit issue is one. The other thing is we got to get the paperwork correct, whatever those issues are, because that will come back to haunt them. It'll come back to haunt us. So
well, and that's, yes, and like I said, so I didn't, by the way, let me just say, I didn't get with Mitch until Friday, or he showed up on Friday in an email to me, and so I wanted to get through our meeting tonight so that I had, you know, all the information I could possibly have before I get back, and probably get back to him tomorrow. So anyway, so yeah, did you have another question though, Daniel?
no, it was mainly, I just wanted to confirm the side and the spacing there.
Yeah, okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay, if by the way, guys, if you go and you look at any of the other documentation that's been sent out, and there has been a lot, there are a lot of things to look at. And if I hear back from anybody, regional planning or building and safety, although Daniel's right, the building and safety piece is another whole, the building permit pieces are another whole piece that we're not looking at. But it's helpful to understand kind of how we got where we were, or where we are.
Well, yeah, I just want to make sure we're only considering the setback piece.
That's all we have to consider is the setback. So if anything else comes up, if any other questions come up or anything like that, we are more than happy to get answers for you. You know, as more information goes out, if you go and you look at the pictures that Mark sent out, for example, or something, let us know, either me or Dorothy, let us know, and we'll see what we can get information for. Giving us this month, you guys, Stephen, is really, really helpful for us to formulate our, you know, really what we're doing and where we're coming from and going to, and should be a much easier. We'll do this exact same meeting in a month with the same people, but we'll already know about the project.
Well, and I just like to say that forgive maybe some of my emails. You can imagine the roller coaster ride of emotions that this process over 2 years has taken.
It's fine. Don't.
And so I appreciate it. And you explaining your timeline the way you did at the start of this meeting makes a lot of sense to us.
Okay.
We 100%, you know, we understand. Again,
Okay.
to anybody who, just like that one public comment, to anybody who would like to see it firsthand, not from a neighbor side, but to come on, we invite you.
Yeah, so if any, you guys should have Stephen's email address. I think if you don't already, let me know and I'll send it out to you, and you can get in touch with him to go see the project if you want to, those of you that need to go see it. I just want to make sure that we have covered everything that we want to cover. You know, yes, Mitch Glazer has already said to us that they will hear it in October, and they should have then everything they need to make a final decision, right?
Okay.
So yeah, as far as I understand it.
Well, and we will be sure to send you this this information that we gathered and put together with photos.
Yeah.
We'll make sure
Yeah.
to send that to you.
Oh, for Becky Cho, yeah,
Yes.
that'd be great.
Yeah,
That'd
we
be
sent
very,
it to her because at her request, but we would love to send it to all of you as well.
very helpful. Thank you. Okay, anybody else? All right, so hang on, let me look at my, Pat, did we get any general public comment?
No, we did not.
Okay. And was there anybody who didn't tell me ahead of time that they had a census tract report? I'd like to kind of end at 8 o'clock, but.
Well, I have a quick one, but most of the people probably already know about it.
Okay, go ahead.
So if
What
you guys,
census tract- What's your census tract number?
oh, it's on my name. Can you not see it?
No, we can't.
It's CT 4612. So
It's too long. 4612.
4612. And this is more of
yeah.
a general thing for the
Yeah.
county. For those who didn't know, the county has eased up zoning requirements for sidewalk dining and whatnot. So I know there's been some questions about how Foxes or some of these others can put items out on the sidewalk, because in the past that had not been allowed specifically by LA County zoning and other rules, but that because of the pandemic they did loosen up on that. So if you're getting questions, a couple have come up about them blocking the sidewalk because there are areas where it's not technically wide enough, but they are giving some leniency during this.
Yeah, you should see
period.
Sierra Madre.
Or could drive through Old Town in Pasadena.
Yeah.
So just FYI.
The other, yeah. Okay. Is that it for you then, Nick? I mean, Nick, sorry.
Yeah.
Daniel. Okay. Yeah. The other thing that the county is not doing is enforcing parking violations right now. They're also not enforcing people having RVs in their backyard that people may be living in. There's a whole bunch of other things that they're not enforcing right now. So from a code violation. Anybody else have any other census tract report that we did not add? Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Sylvia and Shauna, are you seconding?
Gloria is seconding.
Shauna is seconding. Okay. All those in favor?
Bye.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you so much
Stephen,
for your
and
time.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Have a good night, everyone.
All
You
right.
too.
Take
Bye.
care.
Have a good night.